Flosstube. This is Jen, also known as Quirks and Stitches. This is attempt number 3 to actually begin filming because I cannot get my flow right today. It is Monday, August 19th in the evening. Got home from work, went out to dinner with Brandon. I'm talking with my hands a lot today and I'm not exactly sure why. Went out to dinner with Brandon, got settled, and decided I was coming home, I was filming, and I'm gonna try really hard to get myself onto a schedule. We all know how well it goes when I say I'm gonna get onto a schedule or say something's gonna happen at a certain date, and then it freezes me. So who knows? I make no guarantees, but I'm really thinking that Monday is probably gonna be the day that I'm gonna try to film. So Wednesday and Friday, typically Brandon streams on Twitch, so he uses our webcam, and so I tend not to be around or try to do things on those days because of that, but thinking Mondays because then it gives him time to edit, and we'll see. I guarantee you next Monday I won't film because I said I'm going to. It is the evening. I am sitting downstairs. I've got a Yeti of wine. I came home today and Brandon had put an order into Amazon the other day and he had some surprises for me because I didn't run out of them. I lost them all, the corks that you like, the stoppers you put in your bottle of wine. We had this corgi one and Watson's a Dachshund corgi mix. So we wanted a corgi and we ended up not being able to get a corgi. So we got Dachshund or Watson instead. And we love that she's part corgi, but people only ever see the dachshund part of her. So, but we have the corgi one that I don't know what happened to. And then we didn't have any down here the other day, so we had to use these like rubber silicone beer bottle caps. I don't know what we were using. It was a little sad. So I came home today and he had gotten me, they're awesome, these little owl corks. There's one more. It was a set of 4, and the other one's blue. And they're like, their colors aren't really coming up true. They're much more, they're toned down. They look like neon here, but they're very like earthy tones. I love them. So that was a nice little surprise that I came to him to. And he got another one of the corgi ones because Watson. So it's been a good couple weeks. I don't actually remember when I filmed. That's Watson. I don't actually remember when I filmed other than the 24 hours of cross stitch. I think it was before I went to Florida, but I think it was pretty much the end of the month because I had gone through my holiday calendar with you guys and what I was planning. I did like where I was up to. It was like towards the end because I had a couple that I was showing you what I was planning to stitch. And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't do any of the plan because I didn't stitch at all. Once I ended up going to Florida, I stitched a little bit down there, but it was very sporadic stitching and kind of pulled random projects to do with that. I worked on Quaker Fox a bit, which I don't have out to show you, and I worked on Molly, and that was Magical Stitches Extreme Stitching, so I was trying to get through with that. So those were the things I really pulled out when I was there. But at home, I really haven't been stitching. I kind of lost my bug, have been focusing on other things, and just was coming home in the evenings and not wanting to expend the energy to get situated and stitch. And so, August started and I've got all of my challenges. So, I'm in all the challenge groups. I think I said last time I was going to be giving up the Lord of the Rings. Seriously, that's mayhem. Please hold. It's a moment with the animals in the Lee household. Brandon is getting her. Her and I have already had a moment today. We're back. He doesn't need to edit that out. It's fine. You can see her in the back. There's Mayhem. She's a monster. Just evil. So, and now... That was what's attacking Mayhem. Okay, well, she's okay. This is life, actual life in the Lee household. Yep, that's it. So I kind of lost my bug. Wasn't coming home and stitching, and I had all those challenges starting. So I knew the acrostic was starting, the holiday calendar was starting, and just I knew I was gearing for a 24-hour Take 4 marathon, And there was just so much kind of happening that it kind of shut me down. It was too much all at once. So I was trying really hard to keep up with the challenge groups. I have put the Lord of the Rings one on a back burner just because I knew I was overloading myself. But I was still really trying to get the other challenges that I'm in. And I knew I wanted to do mine. But it's just like August started, and then it's like all of a sudden it's 24, and then all of a sudden it's like all of these things, and I just didn't have a plan going in. So I think I was really ready to just kind of stop and just be like, maybe I'm not going to stitch for a while, and maybe I'm just gonna, and there's no way that can happen. So 24 hours happened, and it like rejuvenated me. Like, it got me into it again. You know, I got home early that day from work, so it was 1 o'clock, was able to stitch that whole thing. You can watch the whole video. It's me being sleepy and grumpy and a little hysterical. Not that I'm hysterically funny, but I was hysterical. Like, I was... Anyway, but it was good because it got me back into, I do, like, this is my stress relief. This is what I want to be able to do when I come home from work. So I'm really happy about that. That being said, I am working my way through the acrostic for 24 hours, which is, what is it? X stitch day, spelled out, you know, like an acrostic. And so I'm working my way through that. And then I don't think I'm doing the holiday calendar this month. I don't think so. Can I just tell you that my animals are driving me crazy tonight? Because now Mayhem has found a bag. Mondays may not be the night to film. I'm hoping the mic makes it so you can't hear that. So, anyway, we're going to take a breath, and I'm going to refocus. Stitching is good. I'm glad that I have not lost my bug. I did the 24 hours of cross stitch, and I decided I wasn't going to count my stitches anymore, which for those of you that have been following me know that that's a big deal. And I marked on my patterns where I was and figured I would recount as I was going later. Throughout the night, I started trying some different techniques to counting stitches, and I have some developments in what I'm doing now. So I know there's always a lot of talk about how people do this in the challenge groups. A lot of them do require you to know, like, you're stitching 300 stitches, and so you do have to track. Like, you have to know how many stitches you're putting in order to participate with that. And the reason I was kind of looking for a change with my tracking, and why it kind of started with the 24 hours, was I find I usually keep an app open next to me, and then I tap on the app for how many stitches I'm doing. And I'll take a break, like if I'm crossing a row back, I use sewing methods. So I do a whole row across, and then I'm crossing it back. So I'll tap it out that, or I'll do every 10, but it makes it so, like, literally I am stitching and I'm counting and I cannot talk to anyone. And I didn't want that to be the vibe for all of 24 hours. I wanted to be able to talk to my mom, even if we were both a little grumpy. So I decided it wasn't going to happen that way. And so actually what I did was I just kept a notebook next to me, and I wrote, like, I was tracking the thread. So when the thread was done, I would go back and I would count how many stitches I stitched with that thread, because it's easy to remember where you stitched. You can kind of check it. Or if I, like, cut the thread and moved it, then I would count before the cut and then add up the total, so that I had kind of a line glance that I could see, that's approximately 60 stitches. And if I'm stitching on 40 count, I'm realizing I get about 60 stitches per thread length. Then I knew I could go to the next thing. I don't feel like any of this is making any sense. I have visuals though. So then I was thinking about it, and I'm thinking, okay, well, how do I want to do this? Because the other problem that I was having with my hands, I can't stop with my hands today. The other problem I was having with the app was that it was on my iPad, and I liked it on my iPad and not my phone, because I like to have my phone free for, like, Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. But I had to have my iPad with me. And so there were times where I left my iPad upstairs and I woke up in the middle of the night. And a lot of times if I wake up at 3 a.m., I'll just go sit on the couch, and if I'm awake enough, I'll stitch. But I would be like, my iPad's upstairs. I don't want to go upstairs, possibly wake up my mom and dad. Like, I'm not going to stitch because I don't have my iPad. And like that to me, I didn't like. It felt like it inhibited how I stitched. I also had to be like near a power source because my iPad is old and I feel like it doesn't hold battery life anymore. So I was just coming to this point where things were not working. So I decided this notebook thing. So I'm, working through the night, trying it out, realizing this is much less inhibiting. Is that the right word? Maybe, I don't know. It didn't inhibit my stitching as much. And I was able to talk because then it was only like a minute out of my stitching that I was counting, as opposed to the entire time that I was stitching. And the only time that you could talk to me was when I was threading my needle. It reverses it. So I was like, well, I could have 3 notebooks, and I could have one in my purse, one downstairs, and one upstairs. But then I was kind of like, well, but then what if I start working on a project upstairs and I'm tracking the stitches on that one and I have to get 1,200 stitches to meet my acrostic challenge? If you don't count stitches, I am really sorry for all this rambling. Really. You can fast forward, but I will have lots of stitching to show. So don't go too far. So I thought, well, if I'm tracking 1,200 stitches on one project and half of them are upstairs in a notebook and half are downstairs, I'm kind of running into the same problem that I had with the iPad, whereas I want that notebook to go with it. So then I was like, well, I could put like Post-it notes in each project bag. And I was like, yeah, but Post-it notes, like a pad of Post-it notes will get crinkled and I can't do crinkled things. So, hi, one of Jen's quirks. So that wasn't going to work for me. And I didn't want just an index card because I wanted something with a little weight to it. So if I was writing on the edge of the sofa, like the arm of the sofa, my handwriting would be neat. I was going through all these things. So then I decided, I could make notebooks. I could, go and just make 84. I have 84 projects currently. I could make 84 notebooks and have them in my WIP bags. And then I'm thinking, I've never made a notebook before. I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy all of the materials to make the notebooks and I'm going to hate them. And this isn't going to work. So I went back and forth about what I was going to do. And then I decided, let me look on Amazon. Let me see what Amazon has to offer, because Amazon has everything. All cork things, they have everything. So in A Life of Jen, one of the things I've collected and perused throughout my existence is traveler's notebooks. And so I use, my favorite of the notebooks isn't actually a traveler's notebook size. It's the moleskin. They come in like a pack of 3 and they're like a craft paper cover. They're my favorite notebook. But they're expensive and I didn't want to buy a bunch of those for it. But I found a notebook on Amazon and it was like this. So it's about 4.5 inches by like 8. And it's got like 80 pages, so it's got some heft to it, some weight. And it just opens, just lined pages, but it opens really nicely so that, if it's sitting next to me, I can write comfortably on this side. And they had them in bulk. So I was able to get a box of these. A box filled of these notebooks. I think there's 50 of them. For like $40. So it was less than $1 a notebook. They're going to be able to go from project to project because once I finish it, I'm only, I'm tracking my stitches, but then once I finish, I can move to another page. And then my concern was writing on this side of the page because I don't like doing that in a normal notebook. But I've decided that I'll fill going this way, only writing on this side, and then I'm just going to flip it and do the reverse. Because there's not really like a heavy margin. Like they're kind of evenly spaced. This is working so well. So they fit in my project bags perfect. They don't add that much size and things to them. So like I have all my I didn't take anything out of my bags today. So it's in the project bag, just sitting in there chilling. I'm not starting one. Like I didn't go through and like load all my project bags because if I don't work on something for a while, maybe I'll have one that I finish a project for that I can, reuse. So I'm going to keep them as clean as I can until I use them. But it's working out so well. So like as an example, like this is Good Intentions. It's one of the things I started for, it is the thing that I started for 24 hours. I don't have much done in this, but you can see, like, I have the title of the thing, the date I stitched. That was one thread length, another thread length, another thread length. And then I can mark easily how many it is altogether and what challenges I'm using it for. So I know that I'm not double dipping with my challenges. So this was used for Magical Stitches homework, and it was used for Daily 30 homework. Some of them got a little more complex as I went. I think it was this one. Yeah, so like this one, I'm able to see that I've used, you know, that set of stitches went to Daily 30, that line went to Daily 30, those set went to Daily 30. All together, it went to finishing my acrostic, and then I did a little extra because I finished it. And then, you know, I started for another project. I'm loving it. It's my favorite. Now I just have to make sure there are my pens that I write with at every spot that I might have a notebook to write with. Might buy more pens. Unfortunately, they I think will be much more of an expensive purchase than the notebooks. So that's my new plan. It's working so far today. But, you know, that's why I'm not going to put a notebook in every project bag, because they're actually traveler's notebook size. I have notebooks that, like the traveler notebook covers, that these will fit into. So if you know, they're not going to go bad. I don't know. We'll see. And I've kind of figured out my like happy place with highlighting. I can't show you because it's all on like patterns, but I had been, when I first started highlighting, I was highlighting every stitch that I was doing. Now I'm just doing like the last row that I finished, so I can denote where I started and where I stopped if I need to. If it's just one thread length, I don't mark it at all because I don't need to. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but I have rambled as per Jen. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing, how my head has been thinking. I did have a couple of finishes during 24 hours of cross stitch, so I will show those again here. I did show them during the event, and they were nice and ironed, but they kind of got a little wrinkled. This is ABCs of Cross Stitch by Little House. I like it. I changed the red because it was Calico Kitty, and her dress was weird tones. So I changed it to Ruby Slipper. I think it's still gas. It's gas, not Classic Colorworks. And then I did all the accenting with the red instead of the white, because there is white there on the edge. But this one I got to finish on. This was a Stitch 9 challenge, so I was super excited to have that off. I also finished this one. This is my happy place by the Scarlet House, I think. I just have to get buttons to add to where there's a row of buttons there, and then replacing this sunflower with a button. So that was a finish. And yesterday I finished And Rudolph by Lottie Da. This was another Stitch 9 challenge. I stitched this on 35 count mink. Sorry, my zipper it's getting caught. 35 count mink by R&R. It's a piece of fabric that I used for Quaker Christmas too, and I had no problem with it. I was using it with Quaker Christmas and Weeks Dye Works threads. This was what was this? DMC. It was just 310, and it was awful. Oh my goodness, it kept snagging my thread. So I think the combination of the mink and the 310, it's a very like coarse fabric. So it was like it was a chore. It really, I mean, it stitched fast because I only I worked on this in the airport in Orlando, and I only had like the reindeer done. I didn't have anything else done. So it stitched up really fast. I kept fraying my threads. And anybody that uses like the wax, is that where like wax on your thread is helpful? Because I don't use that. But like it was like it would catch, and then the whole thread would fray, and I'd have to. It was not fun, but I really like how it turned out. And I didn't really think that the white, it's like 822, would really add anything, but it really does. It makes it pop really nicely. Mayhem is trying to go into Watson's bed right now, which is not an interaction I've ever seen them have. Monday nights make animals weird. Also, she's like rubbing up against my leg. And by rubbing up against my legs, I mean headbutting them very hardly. Very hardly? Hard? Hard. I didn't take anything out of project bags because usually I have like 10,000 things to show you. And I don't have that many to show today. I have a lot, but not that many. For 24 hours of cross stitch, I started this. And I am doing a floss toss for it, so I'm just grabbing things in my stash. I'm using Raven for the main black. And this skein of Raven that I have is very green. Sorry. I'm stitching on a 40 count navy bean. Vintage? I never remember if they're vintage or not. It's Lakeside Linens. And so I have just in here my plethora of threads that I was like, oh, those look like the colors that it's called for, so I'm just choosing as I go. I'm not like, I mean, I kind of have it all together, but I didn't, like, it's not a floss conversion in that I'm trying to change the color scheme. It was just, I don't want to buy NPI. So I'm gonna use what Gast I have or whatever I have that's gonna be similar in color. And it's in my clock bag because I started it on 24 hours of cross stitch. We'll see how this goes with keeping things straight. Stuff everywhere. I worked on Cross Stitch Nation during 24 hours of cross stitch. So I'm getting there. I worked on it a little bit more after because I was using it for a challenge. So it grew a lot because I think for 24 hours I only had the first flower and most of this dress done. So it really has grown. I'm stitching this on 40 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. I'm using the called for colors. I'm doing a pattern trade with this when I finish it, so I'm trying to get it done. It is in my sewing tattoo, flash art, whatever the style is, bag. You get to see project bags this way. And I don't have to spend 2 hours putting everything together when I'm done. That is the plan, at least. I spent some time working on Bump in the Night by Prairie Schooler. I'll probably start taking these back out of the bag because this is more annoying than I thought it was going to be. Bump in the Night by Prairie Schooler. I started this for Madness this year. I'm stitching it on a 32 count dark cobblestone, I think. I don't think it's a hand-dyed. I think it's just a regular fabric. Just using the DMC. I made a mistake in the witch. Her dress is one too long, but can't really tell. The rest of because it's like set up in the different vignettes or whatever, like her dress is a little long, so I just made note, and this won't be, so as long as I don't line the bird up by her dress, I'm good. I'm liking how that one, I stitched on that one like sitting out on the porch because it's easy to see. It's a 32 count. I don't do a whole lot on big counts, so it was nice to have something that I could just be like, oh, I'm going to work on this now. I don't have to have well, I don't use a magnifier, but I don't have to have special lighting or anything like that. I worked some on the coffee bean sampler. I don't really remember. I'm for as organized as I am, I'm so far behind with keeping track of like how much I've done. I'm not writing in my planner. I haven't updated the whip wall. Like it'll get there. It just hasn't happened yet. Got about 400 stitches on this. So it's getting there. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do. So down here she has B Twist because it was Beth Twist, and up here, like my name will go there, but like, do I do J Lee? Like, I don't know. Jay Lee makes me think of work because my emails are always jlee at wherever. So I don't know that I want that. I haven't decided yet what's going to go there. I have to think. I love all of that series, though. I'm stitching it on 36 count Old Mill Java by R&R. And I think the only R&Rs I've ever stitched on are this and Mink. And the difference between the two is like night and day. I really, really like this. The Mink is just very, very harsh. And I have a huge, huge piece of it that I think my mom bought, and she doesn't even buy hand-dyed stuff, so I'm not sure why she bought it. I worked some on Peacock, a Unicorn, and a Badger. Actually got a lot of fill-in stitches on this done. So I did a lot of the green here, almost all the way down, and then got some of the unicorn coloring done. Stitching this on a piece of 40 count mystery, don't know what it is. It seems very loose compared to other 40 counts that I've worked with, but I think that's because of the a lot of the 40 counts that are over dyed shrink a little, and so they're actually a little smaller than 40 count. And that one just didn't shrink because it's not an over dyed. That's what my head thinks. I could be wrong. I want to talk about like what my plans are too. Just haven't gotten there yet. I'm currently working on. Am I currently working on this? Yeah, I'm using this for magical stitches, but this was one of my acrostics this month. I think it was the H for cross stitch day. H for harbor. I really want to get this one done. I really want to get to the whale. Here's the pattern. I started this for Madness last year. That whale, he's perfect. And then I'm going to chart some lyrics from Mariner's Revenge by the Decemberists. Haven't figured out which lyrics because it's a very depressing song. I have worked on... So I hadn't stitched for a while, you know, but I feel like I've made some pretty good progress in the past week. So, I was showing the bags and then I forgot that I was showing the bags. I'll show you this one. Working on Molly. This one I have a love and hate relationship. I love the pattern. I hate the fabric choice I made. Stitching it on 32 count lambswool. I am only stitching it on 32 count lambswool because I did Elizabeth and I also stitched her on 32 count lambswool. I don't love 32 count always, and then lambswool also, same thing as with the Mink, is very, very rough. But I did one of the series, I have all 4 to do, so I feel like they have to match. And lastly, what I've been working on, actually got up early for work today and put about a half an hour in on this before I left the house. And I have about an hour commute now, so I feel like I'm trying to get as much stitching in anytime I can. Is When Skeletons Dance by the Drawn Thread. I've been working on the house. And this is a great segue to what I want to talk about next, because it's Halloween. So we announced the dates for the next 24 hours. We've gotten a lot of feedback about frequency and things like that, but we wanted to stay true to the pattern we had for right now. We will be discussing how things may shift. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, but we're giving some time. We're doing some serious considerations about what it's going to look for going forward. But for this, the next event is going to be October. I don't remember the dates because I didn't write them down before I started this. Hold on one second. It is going to be... Hold on, please hold. October 4th through 6th. So it's Friday through Sunday again. You choose your windows. If you need more than 48 hours to do it, take more than 48 hours to do it. We are not strict. We are pretty, if you can't stitch the whole 24 hours, okay. But it's going to be in October. So I wanted to talk about what my plans are, what is going on. We would love to have this month be a little bit more thematic from everybody if you are wanting to and if you are willing. I, for instance, am a huge Halloween stitcher. My mother is not. She will not stitch anything Halloween. So we're looking at it and we're like, okay, we're planning our acrostics. We're getting September's ready. And I get to October and I'm like, well, I want a Halloween acrostic. And she's like, well, if you release a Halloween acrostic, I am not going to do it. And I know that there are a lot of people exactly like us who are either all Halloween or no Halloween. And that is totally fine. So for October, spoiler alert, we are going to be releasing 2 acrostics. One will be thematic with Halloween and one will not. So it will be probably maybe more fallish. We're probably we're getting away from like the time acrostics, because how many time acrostics can you do? And we love a theme, so it will probably have something to do with the month or something. But there will be, for October, I'm not talking September, I'm talking October. I know I'm skipping a month. October will be 2 acrostics, 1 Halloween, 1 not Halloween. And that leads me to talking about my marathon. One of the things I struggled with this last one was that I had no plan going in. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I've realized that I don't like that. I don't like how I stitch when I don't know what I'm wanting to do. I'm not a good I feel like stitching this now. I really like the format that I've been doing of the 45 minutes on stitching, take a break, film, whatever, recap, do my running, whatever, and then do another 45 minutes. But I really want to echo 24 hours, take 1, and do a bunch of different projects. So I got to thinking, well, I'm Halloween. I've wanted to participate in Dark October for a really long time. Dark October was put out by Eclectic Possessions and Cozy Egg, Emily and Michelle. And I've talked to them. I've gotten their blessing. It's awesome. So last year, I don't know if anybody saw Olivia. She did a different October start. Every day in October. And you know how I love Stitch Madness, and I love doing the new starts. And so I have decided that for the Halloween Take 4 24 hours, I'm going to combine it with my Dark October stitching. And I'm going to count in. I'm not going to do all new starts because I have a bunch of Halloween currently. Right now, I think in my list, I have 84 WIPs going right now. I counted. I had 85, but I finished the one. I have 17 of those are Halloween. So I'm going to start the difference 14 more. Plus any that I finish between now and October, I will do another start. So however many I have in my WIPs I will work on them for the 45 minutes and move forward. And then I'm going to add so that I have all 31. That being said, I'm going to do 31 hours. Because 31 lends itself well, right? So that's what I will be doing for 24 hours of cross stitch. My mom will not. She is going to be doing something different. I don't know if she's going to be doing, it's going to be fall. I mean, we're going to do Halloween and we're going to do fall because it's October. I invite you to join in with it though. I was going to do like all littles again, like I did for I'm not going into the hour the same way where the day, like I thought I would finish these things. I know that's not going to happen. So I think I'm just going to be starting some ones that I've like had on my wish list for a really long time. I mean, I was planning on doing Dark October. It's kind of been in the back of my head, like maybe I'll do Dark October. Maybe I should do that. I think I want to do that. Anyway, so I'm just going to start them all on one day. And then I feel like it's going to free me up throughout the month, because if I don't do it that way, I will go into it with my Stitch Madness rules, which are that I can only work on that project for the day until I finish it, and then I'm gonna be mad at myself because I stitch very differently than I did when I did Stitch Madness. So I'm really excited about October. I'm making a list of which ones I'm going to start. We also have going in October, I'm going to be starting Amos Fig with Danielle. And I will link her Instagram below. I am blanking on Curvy Girl Stitcher, I think. I think I always add a word to it, so I'm not sure if I have it right. But I'm going to be starting that with her on the 31st, which is the Return to Dust SAL, which we'd love to have you join in with. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a few stitches in on it during the 24 hours, or if it's just going to be a like completely separate start on the 31st. I don't know. Danielle, should I not start it before? I don't know. But I invite you to join in with that as well. It's on anything that is like a morning sampler, tombstone, Halloween, anything really that you can kind of associate angels, however you want to tie it into Return to Dust. We'd love to have you participating. So that is my plan for October. I'm really, really, really excited. I'm really excited to get back to that format because I haven't done that format yet for any of the marathons. I did it the first time, and then the second time I did Year at Hawk Run, which, guys, I think I'm gonna abandon because I don't like the fabric. I'm stitching it on 36 count Weeks Dye Works Confederate Gray with 2 strands of DMC. I don't like the fabric. I don't like stitching with 2 strands of DMC on it, and I don't like the DMC color conversion. So I think I might be giving that one up. But I learned a lot by doing it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like it's such a waste. But I did that, and then I did, so I just haven't had one that I've done this different thing every hour. And it gets me excited, and it keeps me motivated. So I think I might try to like alternate it. New start whip. Yeah, I'm excited. We'll be coming in with more announcements with the 24-hour stuff as we are thinking and what it's going to look like going forward. Again, we've gotten a lot of really good feedback about timing. We just wanted to get some thoughts from you guys because we didn't want to be burning anybody out. It is not that we don't want to do these things. We love doing them. We get a little grumpy in the time, but that's just because we know we're going to be going out without sleep. I'm hoping, too, that with starting with that take five, that it's going to be consecutive. I say that. I said that last time and it wasn't, but we'll see. What else am I planning to stitch? I did not get to start this with Emily and Diana, Eclectic Possessions, and it is Kismet Stitches. I don't remember. Guys, I can't. My head, it's gone. It is Kismet. I'm just going to refer to it as that, and I will link all of the things below. They started this. It is Magical Weavers SAL, WildAssSAL that they are doing, and I really wanted to join in, but I kept my 24 hours this last time themed to cross-stitch stuff because of cross-stitch day. But I'm going to start that as my high tea start on Sunday, because it is this Sunday. I was thinking I had another week. I'm going to be using this piece of fabric because it is long enough, because it is the longest thing I've ever stitched, which is a 36 count Ale by Picture This Plus. I have not figured out what floss kit I'm going to use yet. I'm hoping I have something that will go okay on this fabric. I haven't decided what color I want. I kind of was toying with the idea of doing it inverse, but I don't think, because then they'd be the right color. I don't know. Do I want to do that where I stitch the background? I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I'm planning to start that on Sunday. What else is happening? Went to Craft Gallery. They had a little stash sale. That was fun. It was also Carlton's birthday. So I was able to say happy birthday to Carlton. I did not get to go to their Thursday meet up because I was working. Paula told me I should quit. I was like, well, if you want me to be able to buy cross stitch stuff, I probably shouldn't quit. So didn't get to go to that though, but it was nice to see everybody on Saturday. It's just, there's a lot of things in my head right now. We're really excited about the upcoming months in 24. I will be releasing the acrostic and the holiday calendar. Like I said, I failed completely with the holiday calendar this month. I hope people are still enjoying it though. We are just we're playing a lot of catch up here. And so I thank you, everyone that has bared with me and understands that life got a little bit ahead of me. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm sure you have. The common threaded stitcher that's going around on Instagram has been amazing to see what people are into and all the things that we have other than stitching or inside this craft and outside of this craft that bind us together. And it has been incredible to see. I have failed at commenting, but know that I am loving scrolling through and seeing everything that you guys are doing. I've missed the last couple of things. Most complex project. I was like, I don't know, I stitch X's. But it has been just incredible to see all of the diversity in this crowd, but also all of the things that unite us together. And I think that's just such a neat thing. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Common Threaded Stitcher. It was put out by Kia and Nathan, and there's a whole launch team of us that are trying to be present in it and just learn more about this community. So I've loved that. I've done some Flosstube watching. Those of you that haven't seen Ellen from the Crash Test Dummies, she is filming. Her first video is fantastic. And just I've been watching some of the 24-hour recaps. I don't have a list in front of me of what I've been doing. It's just been a lot. So I will link below if I can figure out some more of the people that I'm sorry. I just really wanted to get home and film so that I knew I had it done. I'll try to be more organized next time. I feel like everybody's like, Jen, you're so organized. And I'm like, you just don't know. I have to take a picture of my floss today for the Common Threaded Stitcher. Do you see those two baskets? Do you see that nightmare of tangled floss that is there? That is my floss storage right now. Well, I mean, how can I? Yeah, those binders over there also. Those are organized. Those baskets, though, right now I'm focusing on finishes. I just want to get through some of this stitching so that it's not all still sitting there. And when I finish a project, the floss left over or the card just go into those little baskets, and then I sort it later. Or pull from it first when I go to start a new project. So it's a mess right now. My life can be messy too. So that's what's happening here. I am going to get out of here and stop rambling, and because somehow, even with nothing to talk about and very little cross stitching happening, more than I thought there was, I still managed to talk for 45 minutes. Wednesday. I'm not done yet. So, thank you, Brandon Lee. One of the reasons why I wanted to really film tonight, too, Brandon streams on Twitch. He has a Twitch channel. He streams. During 24 hours of cross stitch, he filmed and streamed cross stitching on his Twitch channel. And he's decided that he's looking into doing that more regularly. So I said to him, well, if you want on Wednesday, I'll join you. So I'm going to take a stab, literally, a stab at streaming with him on Wednesday on his Twitch channel. So we will both be there. His Twitch screen name is Ujavi, Ujaviji. I will link it below. And we are going to be streaming together stitching. We have 2 cameras set up so that you'll be able to see what he's stitching and what I'm stitching. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So if it goes well and if he lets me, I think on Wednesdays that might become our little date night. You can come. I don't know how much fun of a date night it is, but at least we'll be in the same room doing the same thing. So that will be happening. And yeah, I'm hoping that it works. I am a little nervous about it. I've never shown anybody how I stitch. I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna like seeing how I stitch. You're all gonna be like, Jen, you're doing it all wrong. So that's what is gonna be happening. So I'm really, 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 really excited about that. So Wednesday, 6 o'clock, we will be starting approximately 6 o'clock till. Do you go till 9?
Typically.
Okay, we're doing 3 hours of cross stitch on Wednesday. Hopefully I can last. It's cross stitch. I shouldn't have a problem. I don't know what I'm going to be working on yet. Are you doing your...
I'll still be doing...
He's going to be working on Well Suited by Ink Circles. I'm looking... I think I need to have like a smaller project because the camera setup is a little bit intrusive. So I don't want to have something big that I also have a whole bunch of fabric that I have to figure out where it's going to go for the first time. So I'm thinking I'm going to be working on Quaker Fox because it's on a little piece of fabric and I'm just using DMC. But I'll probably have a couple there just so I can change since I have my brain all over the place. And I'm like, this project, no this project, no that one. And I go all over. So that is what's happening this week. And if it works, we will make it a regular thing. So looking forward to stitching with you. Looking forward to any thoughts or comments you have regarding anything that I talked about today. So please comment below. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you to everyone that has put up with my whims and my rambles. And I enjoy stitching with you. So keep making those X's and finding your calm. Bye, guys.